You are listening to Smart Women's Dating Podcast, episode number 86. Welcome to Smart Women's Dating Podcast. I am your host, certified life coach Lærke Nielsen, and I help smart, independent women attract the love they deeply desire without having to chase or settle. This podcast will give you the mindset tools and insights you need to finally crack the code to your love life. Are you ready? Then let's go. Hey there! Did you know that self-awareness is the new sexy? Someone who actually can see themselves a bit from the outside and be aware of their personality and the way they influence or impact other people. When checking the definition on Google, this comes up. Self-awareness is how an individual experiences and understands their own character, feeling, motives, and desires. This is very much related to growth-mindedness. For instance, realizing and owning our mistakes, wanting to work on changing, understanding how we affect other people, whether we intend to or not, knowing when we tend to react in a disproportionate way to something because we feel triggered, and then being able to either stop ourselves or talk about it and admit that we reacted in a way that we didn't really want to. Someone who is conscious and able to reflect on themselves and their thoughts, feelings, and behavior. That is actually very attractive. And we talk a lot about what to look out for and to avoid, but today I want to talk about what you want to look for, because I find it much more constructive than being hypervigilant on red flags. Although you do want to recognize the red flags, no doubt about that. But looking for these green self-awareness flags and see it as going on a treasure hunt, that will allow you to identify more good men out there, but also sharpen your skills in recognizing these skills and traits in others. And this is also an opportunity for you to do a little self-evaluation to see if you have the green flags yourself, if you are a match to a man that shows you these green flags. So when I say self-awareness is the new sexy, I also mean that for you. And I'm going to give you 11 signs, 11 strong signs that he is emotionally available and he has self-awareness. And also I'm going to share with you what the matching qualities could be in a woman. So what it is you want to pay attention to in yourself. But before we get started, I have two important reminders for you. If you listened to the episode last week, you will know, so I'm not going to say so much this time. You can go back and check the details in episode 85. But the first one is that I'm going to launch a group program on feminine energy very soon. And it will be a unique opportunity for you to try out a group setting and also get private coaching. The program is planned to be 4 group sessions and 1 private session for each participant. And the investment is way below my normal prices. It will be between 200 and 300 euro. So if you're curious and you want to receive information about this program and the details of the content and the timing and so on, I invite you to sign up on my interest list, which is basically just you saying that you want to receive the information and you want to get invited to an information call when I do that. So you're not supposed to make a final decision about joining the program today. You only have to decide if you want more information. And the link is in the show note and also, of course, on my Instagram bio at Lærke the Love Coach. And I am super excited about doing this. I really cannot wait to create the detailed content for this program and share it with you in a group of like-minded, strong, independent women who want to learn to master the feminine energy and be intentional in their love life. So that was the first announcement. Now we're getting to the second, which is a reminder about my free video training, Chemistry and Connection. And this is, if I may say so, probably the best freebie I've created so far. It is a masterclass of 35 to 40 minutes. I don't remember exactly the number. And here I give you 3 simple tools. And if you choose to use these tools, you will have more success with men. To say it quite frankly, there's a high chance that you will be invited on a date again and again, because these three things are something that a masculine man will love from a woman. And it's all about building chemistry with a man that you are dating and taking the connection to a deeper and more fun and interesting level, instead of just waiting for this to happen or dumping him after the first date because you didn't feel any chemistry. Create something fun and meaningful with a guy where you think he's doing all the right things, but you are lacking something. You are lacking the chemistry or the flirting. And I will say, even if you don't develop this attraction to him, even if after 5 dates you still don't feel this chemistry with him, at least you are going to have better dates and more fun. This freebie is available on the link in the show notes and is also on my Instagram bio. So hurry up and sign up. And also, when you sign up for this freebie, you will get a very exceptional offer that I have never given before. And to be honest, I don't know how long I will keep that offer available, as it is really, really below my normal prices. So I definitely recommend you sign up rather sooner than later. So here we go. The green flags related to self-awareness and emotional availability. Number 1. He's not afraid of having the conversation about what you are looking for. He might not be the one to launch it, but if you do, he's going to be very open to it and clear about what it is he wants and what he sees for himself in the future. He is intentional, so whatever he wants, he's going to be interested in aligning that with you. And you are, of course, not afraid of claiming that you are looking for a long-term relationship, a life partner, with the right person, of course, if that is what you're looking for. If you're looking for something casual, you should be open about that as well. But don't think it makes you look desperate or clingy in any way. This is what you want, but not necessarily with him. You want it with the right person, and owning that desire is a sign of someone who respects herself and takes herself seriously. And also who has a plan, a vision, and who has standards. And that is very inspiring. So that is something you definitely want to share. It makes you a match and it makes you more attractive to him. Number 2 is he's available time-wise. He prioritizes you. He makes plans with you. It doesn't have to be every second day. Once a week or every 10 days is actually already fine if he's consistent and you have some communication in between the dates. And for you to be a match to that, you of course want to be open to when he invites you. Give him positive feedback, show him appreciation, trust his choices of dates, and just in general, be fun to go out with, be fun to invite. Number 3 is he's curious about you. He asks you questions and listens. And you can feel when someone is genuinely curious in the way that they listen. They don't just ask you a bunch of questions to keep the conversation going. They actually are present in the moment and let your responses guide his next question. And you, of course, can do the same. Stay present with him and listen to try to understand who he is, not trying to figure out what to say next that could impress him. I know it's tempting, and of course you are allowed to show off a little bit, but keep it under control. Stay present with him and what he's talking about when he is on. And when he asks you questions, you want to answer in the most authentic way, not trying to strategize. Just be who you are. The truth will come out eventually. He will find out who you are eventually, and it's so much better when you're yourself all the way from the beginning. So you want to be okay showing your true self and letting someone feel disappointed or just realize that you are not their cup of tea. That is totally okay and part of the process. You want to weed out the guys that don't find your true self amazing, because otherwise you will never get to the ones who do. Number 4, he cares about your well-being and he wants to support you when he can. He wants to offer you guidance or maybe some acts of service, or make sure that you are not cold or you don't get home too late and so on. All these things where some of it might feel a little bit too much because you're a grown-up woman who can take care of yourself. But you want to be receptive to that, and you want to acknowledge that he cares and he wants to make an effort. So try to think of the intention behind. Think of it as a gesture and less on whether you want or need what he's offering. Number 5, he is reliable. So when he says he will do something or get back to you, you know it's going to happen. So you want to, of course, be appreciative of that and do that as well. Be reliable. Don't play games and don't play hard to get. So those were some of the basics. And now we're going to dive into those that are more about the self-awareness. So number 6 is he is willing to grow. And that means he doesn't think he's perfect and he can admit that there are things he wants to improve and work on. And so can you, of course. But don't think of this with guilt or shame. Life is a journey. But if he can tell you about a habit he has or a default reaction he has in some situations and that he has realized he wants to change, then that is a very good sign. Number 7, he can reflect on past relationships and he can see his own role in them. So when at some point you talk about previous relationships, which I totally recommend you do, but not on the first date and not necessarily in details about each relationship, but maybe more on an overall level where you get an idea of what kind of relationship past he has. Here you want to pay attention to how well he's reflecting on the past and what his own learnings have been. Someone who can see their own role in why it didn't work out and who can realize some learnings from it, who doesn't just think it is the ex's fault. Or if they can point to areas where they have work to do and afterwards realize that they would have done differently today, that's a very good sign. Now, most men reflect less on the emotional parts of their life than women do, so don't expect him to give you a deep psychological analysis, but at least he should be able to share some thoughts about his past relationships. Number 8, admitting that he was wrong about something. It doesn't have to be something that happens between you guys. It can just be something that he might have had strong opinions about in the past and then later came to realize that he was wrong, or where he sees things differently today and now he has a different opinion. And he's not ashamed to admit that. He's not ashamed to admit that he used to be very much against something, for instance, and now he's completely neutral. That is a green awareness flag. It could be, for instance, I used to think that someone over 50 who were never married was a sign that there's something wrong with them, they can't commit to anyone. But today I don't see it like that. I know a lot of people living in long-term relationships and they are very committed, but they don't want to get married. The same goes for apologizing for something instead of just defending himself. Like apologizing for having maybe offended you without knowing it. Maybe he teased you in a friendly way with something that you actually feel very vulnerable about. Even if it was without knowing it, he doesn't start to defend himself. He realized that it still hurt you, what he said. It's a bit the same category, those two, admitting that he was wrong and apologizing for something. It's all about owning our mistakes. Now, for you to be a match to that, you need to, of course, acknowledge that he does that. So don't judge him or say, I told you so, or something like that. I know that's a bit mean to say, but I think you get the idea. You want to almost praise him for admitting that he was wrong instead of just reinforcing that you knew that and you were right all the time or something like that. So acknowledge it, and then in another situation where you are wrong or you share a story about once you were wrong, you do the same. And that means stop trying to always be on top of things and play it cool. Stop trying to cover your imperfections up. You can show him your little quirks and cracks. Authenticity is totally hot, and this is not about downplaying yourself or looking for mistakes that you can admit. It's just being totally okay admitting your imperfections in a sweet and self-loving way. In that way, sometimes it can become very charming. And you can also be open to being wrong instead of wanting to be right every time. Sometimes we get caught up in an idea, and I know this is true for myself. We get caught in an idea that we are objectively right about something, but it could be that there's a nuance in the question, and maybe there's just different ways of seeing things. And so letting go of this desire or idea or maybe even obsession to always be right about something and always convince him that you're right. Try to let go of that. Number 9 is he can express his dreams and visions. And of course, he has those. When you can sense that he has a plan with his life and with his relationship and his love life, he has intentions, he has a direction, and it's something that he thought about, and he can share that with you. And he can also tell you why he has these intentions. That is such a green flag on self-awareness. Because as much as you want him to know your desires and wants, you also want to know his. You want to know if you are aligned and your dreams and visions for the future are based on some of the same values. Number 10 is he will respect your boundaries. And you, of course, need to be able to express them and to stick to them, not compromise because you think he's hot. Of course, we do have different boundaries with different people, so it's only normal that if you like someone, your boundaries are different with them than with someone you are hesitant with. And that is not the same as disrespecting your boundaries. He could also be expressing a boundary, and then of course you need to listen to that. He could, for instance, be talking about when he's ready to go on a weekend trip, or when he's ready to let you meet his children, or his family, and so on. And number 11, that is a big one. It's about navigating a conflict. This is a green flag that you will see maybe 3 to 4 months into the relationship, so it's not something that shows up in early dating typically. Being able to navigate a conflict without breaking up or breaking down. This is all about being able to listen to what is difficult to hear. Listen to when someone you really like and you have a lot of emotions for all of a sudden has another perception of a situation than what you have. And maybe you even feel misunderstood or that he is wrong about you. You both have a different understanding of what happened, or you have different ideas of how things are supposed to be. And it can be very hard to listen to someone in that case because maybe up until now you thought you agreed on everything. So here you want to let him speak and you want to let him share his thoughts and his point of view and try to really understand where he's coming from. And then you want to share your honest perspective and you want to try to share that in a way without blaming him, without shaming him, and without trying to teach him something. And that is a difficult one because usually we have a lot of emotions going on in those situations, and that's why it can be difficult to stay calm and stay rational. But if you can both do that together and you can find a common ground and each move a few steps to meet in the middle, that is a very big happy green flag. And as I said in the previous episode about red flags and green flags, the trick is not to never have conflicts. You can be absolutely sure they will come. The trick is to be able to navigate them and exit in a constructive and loving way where you both feel seen, heard, and respected. So it's not just about him listening and respecting you and making you feel seen. It's also about you doing that for him. Now, this is of course a shared ability because you can't do it alone. And you can't rely on him only, so you need to both be able to master this. And I will say that the key to mastering this is actually to master your feelings. To be okay feeling something very uncomfortable, to sit in the discomfort and still listen to the other person and try to take it in what they say, try to see the situation from the other side. So when you learn to do this, and I would say not everyone learns to do this in a relationship, but if you learn that, you have a very good foundation for a healthy relationship. So now I shared 11 signs that a man is emotionally available and has a good level of self-awareness, and how you can, as a woman, be a match to that. And I hope this was useful for you. And if it was, I would love it if you can share this episode with other people. And of course, if you will rate or review it, that would make me happy too. I am taking new clients at the moment, and I have several new packages to choose from. So there is something for everyone. Someone who really wants to create a lot of results and a lot of transformation in their love life. But also, if you just want to have a taste of what is coaching and how does that work for me, you can also book a smaller package with me. And so in order to get to know more and explore what that would look like, I will invite you to book a free call with me. And then we take 45 minutes and chat about your situation and what you want to create in your love life. And I will tell you how I can help you and what I can suggest to you. And of course, this call is also all about finding out whether we could be a good fit to work together, whether you feel I could be a coach for you. And even if you end up deciding that I'm not, I promise you, you will leave the call with some new information and some ideas on how to move forward in your love life. So go to the show notes and find the link to book a call, or find it on my Instagram bio at Lærke the Love Coach, and sign up for a free call. I can't wait to speak to you. I will be back next Thursday again, and in the meantime, have a wonderful week and enjoy dating. If you like what you're hearing on this podcast and you want to get support from a coach on your love journey, I invite you to book a free consult call with me. You will find the link in the show notes. And also, don't forget to subscribe, and I would love it if you would rate and review this podcast, and then you'll also help other women find it.